finally found one after looking for about a week. It's a Texas quarter, and I'm going to turn this into a coin ring. So the first thing we're going to do is punch a hole in the center of this quarter. So this is a little kit tool that's specifically for cutting a 1/2-inch hole into a quarter for coin ring making, and that's what I'm going to be using today. If you want to get yourself one of these, there'll be a link for it in the description below. What you do is you put your quarter inside there, put the top on, put the punch on top, and hammer it until it pushes through the coin. Go. There's the piece that came out. My camera does not want to focus when I film at this angle. Alright. Now sometimes I get my quarter stuck on this punch. I'm going to show you how I get it off. Okay, so I've got my little kit set up at my arbor press so that when I push it through, I'll pull out that gap right there. And I've got a smaller punch that I'm just going to set on top and push this larger punch out with. Just like that. Nice and easy. And there is our hole in our quarter. And we're going to go ahead and deburr that real quick. I got my deburring tool. I got my coin. And I'm going to push rather forcefully to really get that scratched up metal out of there and make that inner surface as smooth as possible. Really get rid of any rough cut metal that showed up when we punched that hole in it. You want to do this on both sides. Until it's nice and shiny and smooth. Very nice. Alright, now I'm going to do my first fold for this coin. And to do that, I'll go back over to our arbor press. And I like using this reduction block for the first fold, because the quarter just fits perfect in this one. And since we're using this to fold it, it's gonna make the first fold nice and uniform and almost round. And since we want the Texas side to be facing out on this coin, I'm gonna place that face down. And make sure your coin is nice and even, flat, before you start pushing. That's how I do my first fold of the cord. And then after that, I usually do a little more deburring on this outside edge. Really get it nice and cleaned up. And go back over to the arbor press, and we'll do the second fold. Where, oh where? Give me a second, I just gotta find it. There it is. Okay, so for this next fold, we're gonna be using a 17-degree folding cone from Legacy brand, which is this thing, and then we're gonna be using 17-degree folding other tool. So we got 17 degrees both ways, and both of these are linked in the description if you'd like to get yourself one. I really like them. I start on we just want to fold that as much as we can down. And that's fold number 2, and we are on our way to making a coin ring. Alright, so this next step we're going to need to stretch this inner lip out, and to do that I use a Rathburn ring stretcher. And let's go down to the floor again to show you how. If I really want to maintain the detail on the inside of the coin here, all the lettering and all that, use this like plumber's sealant tape to wrap around the coin on the inside as much as you can. And I mean, there's no real perfect way to do this, but if you can get tape on the inside and pretty good coverage of it, it'll really keep that detail. So I'm just going to take a minute to fumble with this tape, because I haven't found a super great method to do this yet, but I have found that it does help quite a bit at not scratching it up once I use this ring stretcher. And it's okay to use more than one piece of tape. I do. And this stuff isn't sticky or anything like that, it just kind of sticks to itself. So you want to consider that as you're wrapping your coin in it. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. This is probably the most boring part of the video, so I'm just going to talk through it. Covering a tape in yellow tape, covering up the inside of the ring. Okay, and then when you're done with the strand, kind of like pull it tight, push it down. Now we've got this coin completely covered in this tape. We're gonna slide it onto the Rathburn ring stretcher. Now, at this point, I have to squeeze these spines together to get the coin on here, because it's just too small. But I can get it on there, and then once I do, I want to make sure it's nice and flush and even with that first row or whatever it's called. Slide this on here, put that on the base, and now hitting this with a hammer is very noisy. See? It drives my wife nuts. So she gave me some foam, this little booklet. It's like a leather carrying case for haircut scissors. And that really brings down the noise and lets me stretch my rings out. And once you've got it stretched to a reasonable point, you can knock it back out. And your ring should come off of there. And I'm going to pull all this tape off. And see about doing for this next step, we're going to want to reduce the fatter end of the coin. So we're going to put it back in our 17-inch reduction die, and it's just too big to fit on the smaller side. So right now I'm going to use the larger side And as a coin anvil, I'm going to use a quarter that I don't really want to turn into a ring later. So that's going to fit right on top of the quarter and slide into that die just a little bit to push it down and change the shape of it just a little bit, just enough so it'll fit on that smaller size reduction die. So we got that all the way in as far as we could, and you can see it's going down a little bit, but it's not quite where you want it to be. You want it to be flush. So now it'll fit on this smaller side. I'm gonna put our quarter coin anvil back on top there. You want to make sure your coin is nice and flat, the ring and the coin on top of it. Okay, and on this step you want to reduce just a little at a time. Okay, you don't want to push as far as you can because it's going to run away from you. Now it's almost even. Maybe just a little bit more of a push. I mean, this is like millimeters of pushing here. Maybe 2. That's all I want to do, is just a little bit to make the sides of the ring nice and even. Almost there. That looks pretty good, actually. At this point, I like to go ahead and deburr one more time. Deburr the outside. Outside edge there. Nice and shiny, and then I like to sand. After that, I use a nail block file from Revlon, and I just use the softest sandpaper side. And I like this much better than sandpaper because it doesn't get holes cut into it. It's actually quite tough, and it's flat. So that assures me that this side of the coin, as I'm sanding it, is becoming nice and uniform and flat, and getting rid of all those little imperfections. And then I'll just clean it off with a stray rag. Let's see if I can show you me cleaning it. I just stick my finger in it. Stick the rag in there, spin the ring around a little bit, try and get all the sandpaper and crud off it, and there we go. Yep, there we go. There's our Texas coin ring. And now that it's all nice and uniform, I can easily resize this for anybody who wants to wear it. I think that came out really nice. Look at that detail on the inside and on the outside. Very nice. Little coin there. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more coin ring making videos, go ahead and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up, maybe write a comment, tell me what you thought of the video. Have a great day. Hey guys, if you're at all interested in purchasing any coin rings I've made, I have a link to my Mercari shop in the description, as well as a sign-up link for Mercari that'll give you a $10 coupon off your first purchase. So if that's something you want to do, it's in the description.